NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, had been planning a launch of the space shuttle named Challenger. After many delays, the launch was finally scheduled for January 28, 1986. However, just 73 seconds after liftoff, the space shuttle exploded into pieces, killing the 7 crew members attending the flight. This would have been the 10th flight of the space shuttle. This miserable occurrence, for many, made national news, and NASA temporarily suspended all shuttle missions. This whole horrific occurrence could have simply been avoided.
Many people to this day believe the Challenger disaster was simply an accident. However, the explosion could have definitely been prevented.
On January 26, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger was all set to launch on its next mission to bring the first civilian to the moon. It was said to finally be ready after 5 previous launch delays.
There was discussion days before the launch as to whether they would proceed with the launch or not due to the below-average temperatures. However, this discussion did not include the engineers who were experts on the parts of the space shuttle. The engineers knew that the solid rocket boosters could not function properly in the cold weather the area had been experiencing that week. The minimum temperature the solid rocket boosters could operate in was 53 degrees, and the temperature then was only 50 degrees.
At the discussion, they came to the conclusion of launching the space shuttle, still in hopes that the temperatures would rise the slightest bit.
The day of the launch was finally here, and the temperatures did not improve. In fact, it decreased all the way into the low 20s, which was the engineers' worst fear. The rocket booster definitely couldn't handle the frigid temperature. Since this was the case, NASA told the manager to call off the launch, but the manager replied saying, "If we don't launch now, we will not be able to launch again until April." Against many people's advice, the launch was still followed through with the space shuttle launch at 11:38 a.m.
Only 0.6 milliseconds after liftoff, darkish gray puffs of smoke began to escape from the side of the right solid rocket booster. The puffs of smoke were hot gas escaping through a gap in the O-rings. As the gas continued to escape, it enlarged the hole in the O-rings. O-rings are gaskets in the rocket boosters that are supposed to expand with the movement of the space shuttle, but with these cold temperatures, the rings couldn't expand like they were designed to.
Then at 45 seconds, there was 3 massive bright flashes of fire, each coming from the Challenger's right wing.
At 58.7 seconds, hot gases began leaking from the right solid rocket booster.
Now at 60 seconds, a telemetry, which is a form of automated communication which measures data, showed that the chamber pressures were different in each booster. The right booster had a much lower chamber pressure. NASA officials knew that something was really wrong now. 2 seconds later, assistance control began to lower the pressure in the left booster to counteract the pressure loss in the right booster.
The rocket booster had now breached the external fuel tank just 64 seconds after liftoff. The fire then began roaring down the back of the space shuttle.
73.12 seconds after the launch began, a white vapor became visible, oozing from the side of the external fuel tank. This was the beginning of the structural failure of the external fuel tank.
The failure caused massive amounts of liquid hydrogen to be released, suddenly creating 2.4 million pounds of forward thrust, pushing the full hydrogen tank into the inner tank. The rocket booster had now impacted the inner tank structure and the lower part of the liquid oxygen tank, causing both the external fuel tank and the inner tank system to fail.
Within milliseconds, there was a massive explosive burn-off of the hydrogen and liquid oxygen. All passengers aboard had lost their lives. Families all around watching were devastated.
After the disaster, it was revealed that NASA had waited 2 whole years before sending astronauts into space due to the redesigning of multiple shuttle features.
We now greatly commemorate these people as they passed away in the horrific Challenger disaster. Sharon Krista McAuliffe, Gregory Jarvis, Judith A. Resnick, Francis R. Scobie, Ronald E. McNair, Mike J. Smith, and Ellison S. Anazuka. Ow! Ow! I just got electrocuted!
Hey, leave. Because this is a nice presentation and you're ruining it. With your face.
Oh my god, 38 a.m.
You guys gotta go in the group chat right now.
No, I'm not in it.
You're missing out.
Stop!
What?
Rocket music. I can't.
No.
Okay, I got it.
Shut up! I'm doing a project! Stop him! Stop! Make him stop!
Oh my.
The OG honorary! Stop making him bark! I'm filming a video! Stop!
64.
What was that breath for? Girl, you're not giving birth.
Yes, I am.
Who's the baby daddy?
Myself. Tank.
I'm trying to look cute over here. Reading.
Is this been recording the whole time? No, that's so much storage. I know, I told you.
With hydrogen to be released, suddenly creating two.
I didn't even get to record.
DR.
TRU. Yeah, we're ready.
You been
I wanna be a cowboy, baby.
Country boy, I love you.
How do you know?
is Trey.
Okay, let's record.
Oh my god. Mikolo. I can't pronounce these!